I'm Carlton Sharp, pastor of Faith Christian Center Church, right here in Beaumont, Texas. And we're here on what's happening in our neighborhood. And today, my special guest is Miss Melanie Chappell. Welcome, Melanie.
Thank you.
Hey, listen, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I was born and raised in Crosby, Texas. I grew up on a pig farm.
Hold up a second, Melanie. You grew up on a pig farm.
On a true pig farm.
So what did you do on a pig farm?
I didn't do anything. That was my dad's job. You know, we played with the little pigs, but that was about it. I couldn't wait to leave.
That is so interesting.
So sometimes, you know, kids need a little glass in that nest. I didn't need any glass in my nest to leave home. I wasn't planning on staying. So, but it was a good upbringing. It was an humble upbringing, and it was good for me for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Taught you great values.
Great values. It gave me initiative.
Yeah.
You know, some of the things that right now I have to instill in my kids, and things that I don't understand because I had that.
Right.
You know, growing up, that way, you knew you wanted to do something else.
Wow.
So it was great incentive. I had 7 brothers and sisters, and we all had that initiative to go get an education.
To get off the pig farm.
Get off the pig farm, to go get an education. And, I realized that even doing that, my parents had great aspirations for us because we all went to college.
Wow.
And that was, unheard of, the whole family.
Yeah.
And we're the first generation to go to college. So, it was a good upbringing. And, I didn't know anything different.
So after you left the pig farm, what did you do?
I ended up going to the University of Texas in Austin.
So you're a Longhorn?
Yes, I am. Longhorn. So, and I went to school there for 4 years, graduated. I worked 1 year in the House of Representatives, and that was another kind of farm. But that gave me the incentive to go on to law school. So that's what I did after college. I went to law school. I graduated in 1992 from South Texas College of Law.
Okay. Now, and then after law school, what happened?
I graduated 1992, the most outstanding female graduate of South Texas.
Wow.
So I was very proud of that, coming from a pig farm to the most outstanding female graduate.
So how did you come about that?
Well, it was kind of an award voted on by the student body. Wow. And it was a combination of your grades, your activities, and just I was always a person that wanted to help. So I was on, every committee, recruiting for the college. And after I got on recruiting, I said, hey, we've got a problem with retention. So I was, I got involved in retaining students. So as a senior student, I would help the younger students who are coming in to understand, what it was going to take to survive in law school. So I was just very active. And, and I was proud. I was proud of the award. I mean, it was something I was like, wow, So then I came to Beaumont and I started working at Wells, Payton, Greenberg & Hunt. I'm still there today, so 25 years. And I represented governmental entities, agencies, businesses. I managed to become board certified in labor and employment law. So that's a distinction that I'm proud of also. But I've been doing that for 25 years.
Wow. Now, you're about to make a jump into the political world.
Yes, sir.
In the days to come. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, Judge Donald Floyd of the 172nd District Court, he's retiring. And I looked at the seat and I said, we need someone experienced in that seat. We need someone who's independent in that seat. And we need a person like Judge Floyd, a person of integrity in that seat. And running for politics is hard, it's not something that I really ever wanted to do. But someone asked me the question, well, who wants to run for politics? Who wants to put their life out there?
Yeah.
Who wants to spend that kind of time? Who wants to expose themselves to that kind of vitriol, in this day and age? And I said, you're right. And I can't ask anybody to do that if I'm not willing to do it.
Wow.
So it's just a time. My kids are grown, as they want to, tell me until they want some money. But, it's a time in my life where I've got that time. I still have the energy to do it.
Right.
I've got the desire because I've just always led a life of service. So I look at that bench as also a service to the community, not an award, not a privilege, not something you're entitled to, not something you're born into. it should be a bench of service. And I think that the person who holds that bench should have a heart of service. And I think Judge Floyd has had that.
Right.
And I think I can carry that on.
Yeah, because you'll be following the legend if you're elected to the seat.
I think I will, and just being a young lawyer, I tried my first case in Judge Floyd's court. Hopefully, when it's, about time for him to retire, I'll have the last case in his court. I actually had the last case that Judge Chappell, who just retired, tried. So, I've just been a trial lawyer for 25 years, and I love that. I love trying cases. I think that whoever takes over that bench should be able to try a case. I mean, you can't be the referee if you don't know what's going on. If you've never tried a case, then you're not going to really be a good judge. I don't think.
Right.
And I would prefer to have someone with that experience.
Now, you've had cases in employment matters, federal and state cases. I mean, you've done the whole gamut of legal, cases.
Yeah, I've been blessed. I've been blessed to try cases for all 25 years. So, it's something that I guess I took for granted, until I talked to other lawyers who really weren't given that opportunity in their career, young in their career to start doing that. But I really did. I remember my first case was in Judge Floyd's court, and I know I probably had been maybe practicing 6 months.
Wow.
So, it's just something that maybe lawyers don't get to do as much, but it was something that I've been privileged enough to get that experience, and I really appreciate it from, my law firm, from the judges, who are just open, to let us learn, and I think that that should be something that a judge should do too. Be open to let lawyers try their cases.
Yeah. Now, what's the preparation process in trying a case?
Well, it's a lot of work in the background. So you spend months and months and months with discovery, getting information. I am a detail-oriented person, so I go through every scrap of paper. I look at every document. I'll know it front and back before I go to trial. So, and prepping witnesses to testify, just getting people ready to give their story, and then, with the other side, just, working out details with the other attorney on the other side, so that when you get to court, you're not there to fight, you're there to present your case, and then let the jury work it out. So I think that's important too, is to develop those relationships with the attorneys on the other side.
So how does that preparation relate to, judgeship?
Yeah, I think because I've been there, and I know the struggles of a lawyer in preparing for a case. I know what it means to give up your, Labor Day weekend with your family because you're preparing for a trial that's coming up, and you show up and suddenly the judge is, not trying the case for some reason or the other. Or you're showing up and you're like, well, why didn't someone let me know, Friday before the weekend? So I understand the struggles and the stress, and the part of your life that you give up in trying cases. So for that aspect, I think I will be, I'll understand the lawyer's role. From just a regular citizen's role, I understand because of my background, what it means, that if you've got a case in a courtroom, that is, the frightening aspect. I think as a lawyer, I would understand what it means to give up your day for jury duty when you've got kids, or you've got a job who you don't know how they're going to feel about you, getting off. So I think I will understand that, because of my background. So, and I would hope that I would understand that, but I'm also willing to learn. So that's something I've done all my life, is that I've never been settled. I've never settled for what I knew. I've always strove to be best, and to learn more for me, because I want to be the best at whatever I do. So I'll bring that to the bench too.
Wow. Now, we've talked about the attorney.
Yeah.
Now, tell us about the person.
Well, I'm a mother. I have 2 kids. I have a son that's 21, a daughter who's 17. And through those years, I've been very involved in their lives. I made a commitment. I said, before I had kids, I was always asked to be a mentor. I was always asked to, take a child and help them, show them. And I did that for a long time. And when I had kids, I said to myself, I'm going to have to mentor my own. I want to be their mentor. The things that I'm giving to other kids, I want to give that to my kids. So I made an effort to make sure that I was there to take them to school. I was there to pick them up. I made time for them. I've been PTA president a number of times. I've been project graduation coordinator, you know. I'm currently a project graduation coordinator because I have a senior. I've been Booster Club president. I've sold links. I've sold pies. I've sold sodas. I've done everything from, you know, for the kids in church. I've been children's choir director. I've been camp youth leadership director, praise and worship. You know, Sunday school, I'm Sunday school helper. I don't have the patience to be Sunday school teacher. But I will lead praise and worship, and I will be Sunday school helper. You know, that I made that, you know, you got to know your limits.
Yeah, now that was something interesting before we started, that you told me that you used to be a praise singer on TBN.
Yes, I did.
Wow.
I did. I used to do that. That's when my kids were pretty young, you know, and I had the time to practice, you know, because people think, you know, I mean, being a lawyer to me was easy. You know, school was easy to me. It was the, you know, do you really want to sing for a living? I'm like, that's hard work.
That's hard work.
You know, that is hard work. And I'm not the type of singer who can just pick up a mic. You know, I practice because I'm a perfectionist, you know, so that entails practice. But yes, for a couple of years, I used to sing on TBN.
Wow.
As a praise singer.
Now, also, I know I've noticed you with this Hurricane Harvey out in the community doing community service. I mean, we were everywhere. I seen you in Beaumont, Port Arthur. I mean, you were everywhere, rendering aid to the community.
Yeah. And, you know, and my daughter kind of sparked that, you know, because I was at home with everyone else watching the water rise and praying, oh, Lord, you know, don't, you know, please don't come any closer, you know, and then checking, do I have flood insurance? You know, I mean, that was, you know, that was life for each of us here, you know, that night when the water was coming in. The next morning, you know, I fell asleep. You know, I believe in God. So I fell asleep. I'm like, God, it's going to be what it's going to be, and we'll deal with it, you know. And my daughter stayed up, you know, so she comes waking me up. She goes, oh, the water got almost to the door, but it didn't make it in. And she said, you were asleep, so I didn't wake you up. You know, I'm like, well, good, daughter. You know, good child. And then she said, you know, I feel guilty, you know, because we started seeing all of the devastation, you know, on TV. And she said, you know, she said to me, she goes, you know, I feel guilty because, you know, nothing happened to us. And all this stuff I see, and I'm, you know, and she's talking to her friends, and she goes, I said, baby, you don't have to feel guilty. Put your clothes on. And we got out, and the first place we went was a Montaigne Center. You know, and they were bringing in people, you know, who were being rescued by helicopters, and, you know, and you know, our part was to ask them, you know, how did you get here?
Right.
You know, and people were like, well, you know, I came on the bus. I'm like, no. You got here by boat? Did you get out your house by boat, or did you get out your house by helicopter? And they were like, oh. You know, and I was grateful. You know, sometimes you have those moments when you're just proud of your children, you know, and it's not the big accomplishments.
Right.
It was just her empathy saying, you know, hey, you know, we should be doing something. You know, and in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm doing something right. You know, sometimes you just got to have those moments. I'm doing something right. It's going to be okay. And so she sparked that. And from there, we volunteered there for a couple of days. And then we moved on to the Democratic headquarters because they set up a feeding station. So we started feeding people there. You know, and by then she was pretty much over her guilt. But, you know, we were in it. You know, we were in it. And then when you become involved, you just learn of situations that people are going through. You know, and sometimes when I found, you know, because I mean, I was making bags yesterday, and I got a call about a family who, you know, they lost everything, and they were sleeping on the floor, but, you know, they didn't feel like they could reach out and get the help. You know, and you have others who, you know, are just there, and you're kind of wondering, you know, do you really need this? And then you have some who just don't know how to reach out and get connected, or they have that barrier, you know. And I don't want to say pride, because it's not really pride. It's just a barrier, you know, and I helped a family yesterday because, you know, when you're blessed, you've got to give back.
Right.
You know, and I get that. You know, my kids get it because I've just forced them to give back all their life. But I get it because when I was a kid, you know, I was the family that people were bringing things to.
Wow.
You know, I was a child. You know, my aunt gave up her weekday, one day a week, to take me and my two sisters to piano lessons.
Wow.
Now, that's how I started singing, because the piano teacher was like, we're going to have to find something else for you to do. So I started singing, you know.
Melanie, so your piano player went that.
She was like, your aunt's going to pay. She's already paying. You know, she's paying for the three of us. And at one point, my piano teacher, you know, a sweet little old church lady, you know, she's like, baby, we've been playing the same bug in a rug for 2 years. I hear you can sing. I'm gonna tutor you on singing. So I started taking singing lessons, So, we started singing in church, and, I thought I was, I don't know, Diana Ross, and I grew up in a sanctified church.
Yeah.
So I would get talked to many a days about, you cannot take the mic and try and walk around the church. I wasn't, our little angel choir was like, we took songs off the radio and sung them in church. Not
the old traditional songs.
Yeah. And so I thought, hey, I could sing like Mary, and we'd sing a Mary song in church. My sister'd be on the piano. She'd sing it back up. I'd sing the lead, and my little sister would just do what we told her to do, And I'd have the mic, and I'd try to walk the stage. Oh, it was something.
Yeah. So the joy that you receive from serving others. I mean,
yeah.
Jesus said, whoever wants to be great in the kingdom has to be the servant of all.
And that's what I believe.
Yeah. And so, like I said, I seen you out there serving the community. And I mean, we were at the Montaigne Center also, and it was just people helping people. That's what I said the whole time during Hurricane Harvey, that it was people helping people.
Yep.
And you were out there.
Yeah. And it it was good to have my daughter out there with me, because she could see, and because she doesn't know that experience of needing someone else,
right,
that you don't know, that comes into your life and blesses you, and I know that experience from growing up, and I remember that, and that kind of carved me into who I am.
Yeah.
Because I could never feel like I'm above, anyone, and I'll always have the heart of a servant, because without that, I don't know where I would have ended, and there's so many people in my life who've given me things and have blessed me without, ever wanting anything in back. And I take that in my life. When I give someone something, I have people ask family members, can I borrow money? And I tell them, I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
Because I never want that to be a block in my relationship with anybody. If I don't have it, I can't give it. I can't give you what I need. But if I've got it and I don't need it, I'm going to give it to you. I'm not going to loan it to you. I'm going to give it to you.
The good thing about the service that you did, it wasn't about a photo op.
No.
It wasn't about a photo op.
That was about giving back, and my daughter sparked my heart, and she knows that we've all, I've always taken them to do stuff, the food bank, they know the guy from the food bank because we give,
right.
So that was a spark, and it was, and we had time off. There's nothing else to do.
That's right.
So I'd rather be out helping people, serving people, than sitting at home like, wow, whew. So it was, it was beneficial to me. It was just good to be out and to, just appreciate the fact that I wasn't one. And, I said, I mentioned something to a friend. I said, if those of us who were spared from the worst of it, just one, would give to one person who experienced the worst, it would be a whole lot better.
Wow.
We would come so far in so short of a time. Just if you take all of us who are walking around saying, oh, I'm great, I was spared. You just take one person that lost their home, and you just say, even if it's just, I'm going to help you work through, things. Yesterday, an elderly lady I've been helping, she's like, I don't know what to do with my phone. I lost my house, and she's worrying about how she's going to pay her phone bill. I said, give it to me. And I called the phone company, and they're like, oh, we'll forgive her from the day she lost her house to her next bill, and we'll turn her phone off. When she wants it back, just call us. And she was just devastated of, okay, now I've got to pay these bills. I don't even have a house, but I've got to pay these bills.
Yeah.
So, and that's something anybody could do for somebody. Just go and say, hey, what are you struggling with? Because I think we all know somebody who's lost their house.
That's right.
And if you don't, just drive to Port Arthur and pick one. Pick one and just say, can I help you?
Yep.
So, and I believe in that, and I've always believed in that. And now that my kids are older, it's good that I can, do that, for other things. Because I've always volunteered. That's just been a part of my life.
So what does the upcoming days look like for you?
Busy. I think busy. The people that I've talked to that have gone through the experience are like, you just give up. You just give up your life, and you're just out in the community. And, and I like that part, I guess the part I'm not going to like is that you got to fundraise because it costs money, and I've already hit up my family, I've set up a little, where you can text my name to this number and then you can donate by phone. So I've got a team.
Well, what is that number?
Oh, God, I don't have that number. We should have done that.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
We can put it
because
up
watch
later.
this. Right now on the screen, it just popped up on the screen.
Okay. All right. Good. And so, and I've said, $25, because I want to be, about the people, and $25, that's different. Because sometimes you ask people, can you contribute? And they're thinking, wow, I got to contribute hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
Like, no, $25 would help me buy 5 signs, and it will connect you to my campaign.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we're looking forward to what you're going to do in the future.
Well, thank you.
Hey, well, listen, I want to thank Ms. Chappell for coming today to join us on what's happening in our neighborhood, to talk about what's happening in her life in the upcoming days, but also about the service that she's already provided for us here in Beaumont. 25 years of legal service. Can you imagine that? 25 years. She looks like she's 25 right now, but 25 years of legal service. And the days are coming, well, she's going to need our help. So listen, I put all our information there on the screen, and you can contact her and get involved. So I want to thank her for joining us, and I want to thank you for joining us today on what's happening in our neighborhood. And we will see you next time on our broadcast.